everyone. Welcome to the show. We've got another great edition of Bring It in the House podcast show where we spotlight musicians, entertainers, artists, and leaders. Get your meal. We got a fat meal for you tonight. We're talking about international award winning MC and spoken word champion. Award winning champion and so much more. Let's give it up for Mr. Mike Gwynn. Hello, Mike. It's good to see you again, man. Congrats on all your success.
Thank you. Same to you. Congrats. And thank you for having me on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. We're so glad to have you tonight. So we'd like to give a shout out. When we first opened up the show, let our guests tell, where you're from and what area of the country you're representing. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Mike Gwynn. Shout out to my girl Valerie. How you doing, babe? I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, specifically North Richland Hills, where I do everything in Tarrant County and Dallas County, and just having fun, just all over, y'all.
Amen. You heard him, Mr. Mike Gwynn of Mike Gwynn Entertainment. He's been in the game for a long time. I remember when I resided in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, he was, making lots of noise then. He was all over Fort Worth and between Dallas and Fort Worth and so many other surrounding areas. He's one of the best spoken word artists I've heard, and I'm not just saying it because he's on the show, but he's one of the originals. So I am very honored to have you here. So shout out to your hometown. We did that. What high school did you go to? What's your alma mater?
I went to Jacksonville High School in East Texas, girl.
Oh, okay, Jacksonville, rah. What's the mascot out there?
Indians.
The Tigers, the Indians. All right, Mike, you go. So, Mike, you've been providing that quality MC. You've been doing that in spoken word and events and experiences since 2002. I was looking up a little history on you. I was like, whoa, that's a long time. 22 years, 23 years in the business.
Yes,
wow.
Ma'am. That's been a while. Yes, ma'am.
It's been a while. So how did your career begin? When did you hey, this is my lane? When did you know that this was the thing you were going to get into?
Well, when I started writing, I started going out to share these writings at different places in the Metroplex. And what I would find is that some places, say 8 o'clock, but may not start to 10. Some of them were in some not so reputable places. Some of them were led by people who were only about the buck and not about the artist. So I started to create my own platforms and make sure I brought in a little home training, which is to start and end on time, and to make sure the artists were shown love and support. And that's my first event was 2003.
2003. That's amazing. Well, what was the spark though? I know you're a published author and all that. Yeah. I know that, but for you to say, I'm okay, emceeing is something I know I do well.
Right. Well, you know what? Yeah. Millie, one day, and actually it was December 21st, 1997, I was working as a child abuse investigator in Fort Worth, and I came in from a real long day of being in the field. And as you can imagine, it's a really, really rough job sometimes being an investigator. So I came in, sat down at my desk, and my heart was so heavy. I just put my head down and I started crying. And when I lifted my head, I had a pen in my hand, and the first thing I wrote was, "What good is my master's degree if I can't be the master of me?" And after that, everything came pouring out. And so I started writing poetry. I'd never written before in my life. And so when I started writing poetry, I started going out to shows and events, and I then became a part of the Fort Worth National Slam team. And then we started traveling all over the country, outside the country, performing, some TV stuff. And pretty soon got Hollywood to notice that we had a consistent venue in that market. And so we actually promoted 5 movies for Hollywood, The Great Debater, Redemption, The Color Girls. So we started doing things like that, but they liked the energy. They liked how we promoted, and that we started on time. And next thing you know, K104, 105.7, 94.9, 97, they were all posted up at our shows because we had one of the biggest and most consistent shows every Tuesday night in Fort Worth. And so from there, we just kept that momentum going, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I love that. All that growth and everything. And so you put into work and you continue to write, and then you started writing books. Now, how many books do you have under your belt now, Mike?
Now I have like maybe 5 chapbooks, but I actually have published 2 books, and I just got a book deal for my 3rd book, which will be coming out in the fall.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, look at Mike, you're doing his thing, man. Yeah, you got 3 books coming. Am I correct?
I have 3. I have 2 already, and my 3rd book is coming out in the fall.
In the fall, yeah. Man, how do you keep it all together? I mean, you're on the road driving, talking to me. You're a busy man. How do you stay so consistent like that, Mike?
Well, it's because my circle includes consistent people like you, and
Oh,
that kind of momentum kind of motivates me to be on time, to make sure I make time. And I'm about to park here in a minute, but it
yeah.
makes me where I want to just be a part of quality
Mhm.
productions and around quality people. So that's how that's happened, and here I am. So I make time for that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yes, you've got your business as always. Yeah, I see that you're a publisher. Am I saying this right? Jazzy Kitty Publishing. That's your publishing company that you've been with for 17 years, correct?
Yes, ma'am. So it's not my company. She's just my publisher. Miss
Oh,
Nelda is amazing, and so she publishes my book, and she's been the only publisher that I've had.
oh, wow. Yeah, that is amazing. Congratulations and shout out to her. And, having those long relationships like that, successful long relationships like that is just amazing. And I know it takes work, serious commitment to keep that same type energy going like that all those years. So that's why we're so proud of you guys. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. And in addition to it, I read, this is when I really got excited when I read about your membership invite to the Grammy Recording Academy. Tell us
Yeah,
about that, Mike.
yeah. Well, first I'll backtrack, and I'm also a voting member of the NAACP Image Awards, and I go every year.
Yes.
So the Recording Academy just recently invited me to be a member in June. In July,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in July. And so that's been pretty interesting because now I also get a chance to submit my own work for Grammy consideration. And as a voting member, I get a chance to meet all the folks I've gotten so many invitations to visit here, go there, be a part of the Grammy party. So it's just like getting an invitation to sit at the table and where your voice matters. You know what I'm saying? Same thing
Yeah.
with the NAACP Image Awards. I have a chance to be a part of some amazing. Last year I was sitting front row with Cynthia Review, and then here comes Kerry Washington, and then the lady that played in the Little Mermaid, and the Damon the Wayans brother was sitting right behind me. I'm in the front row, so I got a chance to do that. Then I got a chance to go to the Country Music Awards, and there's Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman and Lionel Richie and the Backstreet Boys, and so I'm getting a chance to finally just enjoy some of the fruits of that hard work.
That's it, in which you so deserve. Oh my God. I know that was amazing experiences for you. I'm happy for you, Mike.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, yes. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Now, I was reading too that you also have a new not sophomore, a new spoken word album called The Calling. Am I
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
That's right. And
Oh,
yeah, I actually, and I thank you for bringing it up, Millie. I actually, that album, that single from that album has been nominated for a Praise Factor Award, and I am a finalist and will be going to Atlanta as part of the Praise Factor Awards award show, and I'm also going to be performing artist on the main stage. So that's going to be happening in September. So I get a chance to do that as well. And I just, I'm doing a lot. I do a lot of acting and done a lot of commercials. But again, just having fun, being myself, just like right now. That
yeah.
has value. So I'm in 2 movies and 2 sitcoms that are being filmed right now. So I'm really having a chance to really enjoy everything. But that if I can get that. I can submit the music for the Grammy, but you have to get the nomination in order to be able to be, a
Yeah.
part of that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to have a chance to
Be
get nominated.
nominated. Yes. Well, we'll be in prayer with you guys on that, because that's a very, important, and that's a high achievement, so so exciting. I know.
Yeah,
Very.
yes, ma'am. The album itself was, it's about answering your calling, and for me, my calling was, to make sure that people see me as an example of a man who's not afraid to be vulnerable and transparent. So I'm answering that call, and the album was actually produced by my son Gerald. And the main track was produced by DJ Dagi. This brother's from Africa. He's amazing, and he's done a lot of work with music and musicians all over the globe. So I was very fortunate to be able to add that to the album as well. So I'm hoping that it does well. And I have a book. The book that's coming out is called The Calling. So the Calling book and the Calling album will be together. So I'll be able to, promote those simultaneously.
Yes. And what date should we be looking out for that? What date is it?
I'm hoping November. So with the book, I'm not rich like you, so I gotta have a layaway plan for my book. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the bandwidth financially yet, but the book will be out in November. My publisher already has asked me to send it to her. She's not worried about any that. She knows the book is going to sell. She's actually it's part of a book deal which I was already received some compensation for. So that was in itself a first for me as well, to be able to have someone pay me to do a book as opposed to me pay them to do my book and hope I can get some sales. So that's a blessing in itself. And I thank God and my family for all the support. And I appreciate people like you who recognize people like me. So I really appreciate it, Mill.
Hey, you're very welcome, Mike. We appreciate you, all that you do. And, and when I'm listening to you talk about your album and stuff, I mean, how do you even prepare? How does all that come about, Mike? Do you just kind of like get quiet to yourself, or do you just kind of go away on like a sabbatical for a couple of days?
No, actually, over the years, you write and you have pieces. So all you have to do is choose the right material for a 15-track album. I mean, that's all you're doing you've already done the writing over the last 20 something years. Now it's about selecting the things that you want to have the album represent you as. Right, there you go. And then going to the studio. I think I created the album. It might have been 6 hours with my son in the studio. A couple of tracks were already produced from working with other people. So it was definitely a chance for me to kind of further extend my voice and be an example of no matter how old you are, you can still have something to say.
Oh yeah, and you're young, man. You're young.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Still kicking. You look young, and you're still young, Mike. So you got a long ways to go yet. Yeah, yeah. So do you ever get writer's block, Mike? And moments where you just like nothing won't come to you.
I can't. I never get writer's block.
That's so good.
Since that day sitting at my desk in Fort Worth, 28 years ago, I can't stop it. It comes out. I'll probably write something about your hair or something. Something's gonna happen. So I'm just letting you know. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just it comes that easy. I sit down, and that's when I have to take that little sabbatical. I don't have a problem with the ideas, but making sure that when I do flush out these ideas, that I do have a quiet space to be able to do that. But it usually doesn't take long. You know what I'm saying? Even when I host events, I'll ask the audience to give me words, and by the end of the night, I would have put together a poem. And that book, The Calling, has a lot of those poems from just those moments where I've used the words from the audience to create momentum using their words to show them just how powerful they are. That we hear you. Yeah. And so it's an homage to them every time I do it. So no, writer's block doesn't happen for me. Thank God.
That's so good. Thank God. Because I was watching a movie. The reason I asked that question, I watched a movie last week. And the young man was suffering from, he had a book deal, a contract, but he just couldn't put the words to the paper. He was really struggling with it. I was like, man, so far I haven't just really experienced that. So I'm glad. Yeah, glad you don't experience that either. But it is such a thing. So they say,
it happens.
Yeah. And you stay booked up so consistently, and I also saw online where you're going to be emceeing at the Trinity River Book Fest next month, September.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
tell us about that. Yeah, tell us about that. How can we get in on that?
Well, the Trinity River Book Fest, you can Google Trinity River Book Fest, and it is promoted and put on by the Doc Bookshop every September. September, as you know, is Literacy Month. It's also Rodeo Month, so they do a lot of things to promote authors from both sides of of the shore. No fun,
Yeah.
no pun intended.
Yes.
So it's a huge outdoor event. They have a fun run at the beginning, and then those folks come in, and you have authors, you have panelists, you have performers, and they kind of trust me, the doc, to put things together, to add. They have all the authors there, but they just give me a script and say, Mike, here it is. This is what we got. We trust you. We know you know what to do with it. So that's what I do. And it's been going on for a long time, but I am very proud of that because it celebrates authors like you and I,
Yeah.
that it
Yeah.
celebrates us. It gives us a chance to have a voice and to sell some books.
Amen. Amen. And you've been doing this so long, and I know you see a lot of, MCs coming along trying to do that, get into that lane with you. In your opinion, what would you say what makes a great MC?
To me, what makes a great MC is that MC's ability to control the flow of the event,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that it's a safe environment and that the artist feels supported. And
Yeah.
that is it. And don't make it about yourself. Don't get up there and do 20 poems when you got 20 poets and then you run out of time because you don't use up all the time. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Make it about the artist. Fill in if you can, if you don't have enough artists, but make it about the artist and the audience, and you'll be fine. And when you do that, you're also supporting that venue who will support you back.
Amen. Amen. Well, I know you're
Well,
one of the best. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, and this is why I'm, been at places for 17 years or 12 years or 10 years or 5 years. Unless the building burned down, I'm there. They got me, and they know
Yeah.
that they know, and even though there's a lot of good MCs out there, younger folks, they have a following, but it's the quality of people that I bring as well. I promote to people like you who are professionals, doctors, lawyers, people that don't want to hang out in clubs late at
Mhm.
night. I try to, partner with like the Mansfield Commission for the Arts or
Mhm.
Wellspring in Arlington or, Mudhook in Cedar Hill or Frisco Performing Arts Center. So, and because of that, I've been able to do things like the House of Blues, because they see that, I'm not just hanging out in clubs, and hookah lounges, which nothing wrong with that. But I want to
Yeah.
make sure that the artists have an elevation of the places that they perform, and they deserve that because that elevation. Next step is going to be the Grammys. Next step is going to be some of these other amazing platforms, and they deserve a chance to practice with a crowd that's there for them and not just for beer.
Yes, that's well said. That's well said. So, Mike, what's the difference? Because people have asked me, not recently, but some time ago, hey, what's the difference between a host and an MC? What would you
Well,
say to that?
a host is what. Okay, so a host is. I just learned this recently. So an MC is someone that's hired to come and be the crowd engagement specialist. They have the lineup. They bring people up. They full of energy. But the host of the show, which is the host committee or the people who brought you in, they're the ones that's hosting it. You're the MC for the event that they're hosting. So
Amen.
and so that's I think that's what I think that's what that means, that the host is the people that's putting it on, they're hosting it, and
Yeah.
I'm the MC of the event that they're hosting.
That's it. That's it. Because a lot of people want to have careers as a host, and then they get confused and they want to have a career as an MC. And so there's that clarity right there. So that's what I wanted to bring to the table on the show tonight. Yeah,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
a lot of young people, they look up to you and they look up to people in your field, and they like, hey, that seems like such a cool field, but it takes a lot of work though. It's cool, but
It
you got to
does.
put.
Yeah, you got to have the ability to fill in the gaps.
Uh-huh.
You know, in case there's a technical issue, you gotta be able to add some humor to it, but at the same time, don't make it about you. Keep it
Yeah.
flowing, and these folks will end up trusting you, because you are a trustee of their vision, of their mission.
Mhm.
You know, whatever thing they have for the night, they trust that you're gonna make sure not to deviate from that or let other people deviate from that. And that in itself is a skill, because people like to go different directions sometimes. And so, you know, when you get me, you get not only a person who has experienced creating energy for a show, you get someone who vets people, you know, who is able to let those folks know that if you come in here, this is the Potter's house, so you already know there's not going to be any profanity here, right? Okay, yeah. So you know you have to have the ability to be a part of the show from planning the planning stages to the when you say goodnight and shake people's hands. You know, you got to have that ability and be invested. Don't just show up, you know, and expect, you know, water at 65 degrees and green M&Ms in the green room. No, you have to
Yeah.
be a part. You have to be a part of it. You have to make. And I've been to so many events where the MCs or master of ceremonies or whoever they are, you know, they show up and they don't have their pulse, you know, on the event. They don't have the hands on it, you know, and it can go
Yeah.
crazy if they don't know what they're doing, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you asked that question.
No, thank you. You're very welcome. Time is going so fast when you're having fun like
Yes,
this. I'm
ma'am.
like,
I'm
whoa,
so
it's like
sorry.
about to eat. No, I'm really I'm enjoying it. Do you have any like experiences that you want to share with us that just really stand out with you? You know, from your long successful career as an MC, do you have anything that just like just really made you so happy or just very memorable
Um,
as an
I can. What has made me happy as an MC is that
MC?
I've been able to create some very safe spaces, and so much so that I can say that I've had at least 15 wedding proposals at my shows over the last year.
Wow.
People have got down on their knees and have said, you know, will you be mine? And they had to feel safe about that. They had to feel that that was going to be a moment that they could remember for the rest of their lives. I love when folks, you know, trust that they've been to the space so much, they feel so connected to the vibe and what's going to happen. They know it's not going to be anything crazy, that they want to make that moment their magic moment. So that, to me, that would be that's the most amazing feeling as an MC, is that they trust you, and that you're gonna you know help them walk into that moment and support them and make that about them. And I love doing that. So yeah, that would be those experiences are some of the best I've had.
Yes. And I can see why, because those are those life-changing moments. And like you said, that energy, it must have dictated a certain, emotion.
Safety, support,
Yes,
you know,
safety.
yeah,
Yeah.
momentum.
Where they just say, hey, you know what? Hey, we've been together for a while. This moment is right. Let me just go on and do this. Wow, present that
Yes,
ring
ma'am.
or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, you should feel good about it. That's awesome, Mike. Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yes. And did you want to? I mean, time is running out, and we're going to play one of your YouTube videos a little later and let
Okay.
everybody see what you're doing, how you do your thing and why. I wanted to just spotlight all your success. We're going to do that later. But before you go, do you have any words of encouragement that you want to? You've already given some encouraging words, so don't get me wrong. But as we wrap up the show, do you have anything you want to say
I would
to?
say to anyone out there, first of all, be a guest on Millhouse Entertainment. That's the first thing I want. That's the first most wisest thing I can think of right now, is to be a part of a platform like this that actually cares about what you have to say. Hands down, this is an incredible experience and one of the highlights. And especially since I know you, have known you, known your daughter, I know where your heart is. So I would say, make sure you surround yourself with people who are professional and who will protect your integrity, and make sure that what you have to say is promoted all over the world. And I know that's what's happening right now. You said I was born
a bastard. That's what you told me, mama. Dark moon of your nightmare, half and half, but not whole of a sum from a story retold over and over again from the center of my soul. I was just 3 minutes removed from being torn from the uterus of then, back when the sun turned its back and shadows cried. And even though just a seed, I could still feel you bleed from daddy's dirty deed, but he was the bastard, mama, not me. I remember swimming inside you, you lay near death. And when you were well enough to feel my movement, your anger and resentment rumbled like thunder. And I wondered how much longer I had to be before you got rid of me. And even though an unwanted fetus, I knew who I was, mama, your son, the unchosen one. But in the ovum of that moment, I felt you concede my existence, no longer resisting your urge to murder the unborn metaphor and leave me lying in a pool of aborted promises. And that day was the day I learned to escape danger by dodging coat hangers, jabbing with the anger of the desperate stranger you'd become. That day I felt you scraping and screaming as you squatted to be free of me, and you almost did, mama, but I hung on, clinging to your womb like a dangling participle, clutching a poem yet written. I survived, mama. I survived the bruises, the statistics just don't fit, and I ain't nobody's misfit, and I can still hear you screaming, boy, you ain't gonna be spit. But I am, and I will no longer be a pun for food stamps or income tax, because I am more than that. I am more. I am more than just sperm jettison from the tomb of my father's already limp affections. I am more than that. I am more. And I wish you loved me like I loved you. I wish you'd love me like I loved you. I loved you, mama, still. You said I was born a bastard. So this poem is for all those times you beat me for looking like him. And this line, the tie that binds me to the umbilical, just like you, but I am not like my father, mama. I am living proof that flowers can bloom from deceit. I am not like my father, mama, because 1% of you, from me, is the reason why I believe, and we've come a long way from belt buckles and criticism, and I just want you to know that all the love I ever knew grew to create me from you, and I'm gonna take all this power and all this rage and leave my heart and soul in the dark bookshop stage for you, because I am not a bastard, mama. I'm a poet, I'm a man, I'm a social worker, I made it. And one day my metaphors will open up heaven's doors and leave tear prints across the sky. And that day, that glorious, wonderful day, you and I will soar. Happy Mother's Day, mama. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Any last shout outs or anything before you go, Mike?
Shout out to my family, my mom. Mom, I'll see you tomorrow. Shout out to Miss Valerie. Miss Valerie, how you doing? And to all the poets and spoken word artists, because there's a difference between poets and spoken word artists as well as MC and host, same thing. So I would say shout out to all the poets, spoken word artists, and other amazing people in the performance arts community. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Miss Millie.
You are very welcome, Mike. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in case you missed it, you can always see this episode on our YouTube channel, Millhouse Entertainment 1748, or you can subscribe to Mike Gwynn's channel and you can catch this. I'm sure he'll be sharing it with you a little later. You know, follow him on all the social media platforms like what's the Instagram, Facebook. Are you on X and TikTok,
Snapchat, TikTok. TikTok, I have about 22,000 followers, so that's pretty good for an old man. You know what I'm saying? There it is right there. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I hear you, Mike.
And as soon as you send me this link, I'm blasting it everywhere. I'm putting it everywhere, girl. So you just so you know, I really appreciate what you're doing so much, and I can at least do that. So you're an amazing host.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And we love you. We'll be praying for you guys, you and your beautiful family. And thanks so much for joining us right here on Bring It in the House. We'll see you next time. Mr. Mike Gwynn. Hey.